Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We'll get to the JRC in a moment. First, brief disclaimer. If you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, all pertinent links will be right there in the description box for you. Should you like to do a deep dive on either subject, you'll definitely be able to go ahead and do so. Also, real quick, trigger warning. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. I do use profanity, and when we do cover places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. So if you got a child that is 16 and younger and they're watching this, very obviously, parental supervision, very much advised, alright? Alright, so where we left off last time. Remember, we're doing these 3 at a time, a lot shorter videos, just for the sake of, my sanity, right? Okay, cool. Let's read where we left off just a little bit ago. This one says, I think electric shocks are barbaric in this context, treating people like they're a velociraptor from the opening scene of Jurassic Park. Bro! Talk about hitting me right in the memories. It's high time for the use of electric shocks to be made against the rules. For real. Can we stop trying to treat self-injurious behavior by you injuring us instead? The logic is not logicking. Even speaking from an objective point of view, you sound batshit insane when you try to make that argument. I'm gonna make you stop hurting yourself and causing yourself pain by me causing you the pain instead, and that will make it all better and you'll have such a better quality of life. Karen, I'm still getting hurt. What exactly is changing is the person that is causing the injuries. That is it. You can't see that. You do not deserve to be anywhere at all within the field of medicine, point blank, period. It is very basic to understand. For real. Alright, let's go to the next one here. This one says, I have a disability called Prader-Willi syndrome and I am also autistic. I do not want disabled people to be going through pain and they should not get punished by getting shocked, particularly over things that we can't control. You see, the time to intervene is before we go into the meltdown. The time to take a look at what's causing the behaviors is before that happens. For real. I want the FDA to pass a rule banning the use of electric shock devices for behavioral modification. I want you to pass this rule because I imagine it is painful for a student like me who gets shocked. Oh, it definitely is. Any shock just below the lethal limit is going to hurt. In fact, if we use Dr. Matthew Israel's own words, the dude who originally designed the device, it's intended to hurt people. That item's sole purpose is to hurt the individuals who are wearing it. Don't believe me? Go watch some interviews on YouTube of Dr. Matthew Israel when it comes to the GED device. Prove me wrong. People like me find it difficult to regulate from being hot and cold. Still have visual memory is playing back by watching this video that people who get shocked for things like not taking off their coat, or they are shocked for screaming out in pain after being shocked. Students should not get treated this way. There are lots of other ways to help people with disabilities, not like this. It's not help. If this is what you all call help, please, for the love of God and all that's holy, spare me. One can only handle so much stupid. Alright, we're going to read one more, and yes, these videos are going to be a little bit shorter because I do want to start doing these 3 at a time instead of going for so long as I have been. So let's go ahead and jump into this one here. It says, please accept my public comment in the support of the FDA proposed ban on the electrical stimulation devices. The use of electric shock devices on people is inhumane, especially when used on vulnerable populations. I agree that the use of these devices presents an unreasonable and substantial risk of illness or injury, and that the potential harm outweighs any perceived medical benefit which could result. All facts, by the way. Absolute, unadulterated, pure facts right here. It's completely insane that we as a society, on one hand we have police with tasers and stun guns, and we are adamant to monitor the use of them to the point we have police on police cams to make sure they're not using those devices inappropriately. Then we have the JRC, who's using the GED device, far more powerful than a police taser or a stun gun. And they're not using it on full-grown adult perps. They're using it on preteen and teenage children. Children. Have you ever seen what a police taser can do to a criminal? Now turn that to 11. All the way up to 86 milliamps. That is the highest setting of the GED device, and there is a select small individual group of folks who are set on the highest setting all day, every day. But even the lowest setting of the GED is still considered 3 more times powerful than a police taser. You've got kids that are in one of the fastest developing time periods of their entire life, and you are stunting them. You are hitting them with a massive amounts of electricity every single day. You sleep deprive them. Extremely important for that age group to get all the sleep they can as they go through the change of going from being a kid into a teenager. You depriving them of sleep, of food, of keeping them under constant stress. Let me be blunt to you what that can do to you. Just a visual real quick. I have prominent lines on my forehead, right? Those lines have been on my forehead since I was a preteen. I have pictures of those 3 prominent lines right here across my forehead, literally in my senior pics. That was what the massive amount of stress I was under during the time was able to do to alter my appearance. Now, imagine being under the stress of being constantly under threat, never knowing when they're going to decide to shock you again. Never knowing if you've performed being fictionalized version of neurotypical enough to their satisfaction that they're not going to remove food from you or force you to eat that soy paste monstrosity. Because we will literally allow ourselves to starve and die before we eat anything that puts us in sensory hell. Point blank. I would have. I still would. But Tiffany, last food on this earth is celery. If you don't eat it, you'll die. Okay? Let's speed it up then. Right? Just saying. On that note, folks, we're going to go ahead and close out for this particular vid. We don't get very many views on this channel. Some of the ones we do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, if you would please be so kind, please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, And of course, folks, please don't forget to get the comments. Double check and make sure you're still set up for notifications too. We're going to be coming back Saturday with the next episode of Down the Rabbit Hole, and on Sunday with the next episode of the Snake Oil Salesman series. We don't want you to miss anything. I do appreciate your time, and as always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea absolutely do hope you have a good one. I'll see you all here a little bit later. Bye-bye, everyone.